Everyone, welcome back to another fun and exciting Algebra 1 class. Today we will be jumping off into lesson 11.3. That is on page 414, 414. What we're going to be doing today is we're going to be multiplying rational expressions. In other words, multiplying fractions with letters in them. Here's the cool thing about this lesson is it's almost exactly the same as the last lesson as far as the process that we'll be using. We're going to be doing a lot of canceling. We're going to be doing a lot of factoring. We're going to be doing a lot of setting equal to 0. So just kind of more of the same. Not a lot of new concepts to learn here, but just kind of doing a little bit more, maybe complicated's the right word, but maybe more, just a couple more steps than we did the last one. So let's look at the steps, and they are on page number 414 at the bottom of the page, and then you can look here on the screen. All right, number one, what's the first thing we want to do when we're multiplying rational expressions? Number one, we want to factor the numerator and the denominator. Factor the numerator and the denominator. You say, hey, that sounds like the last lesson. Well, you're right. It's exactly the same as the last lesson. So that's the same thing. Number two, cancel all common factors. Hey, that's like the last lesson too. You're right. Number three, multiply all constants but leave all variables in factored form. Okay, that's a little different. That's a new step right there. So what is this going to look like? Well, here's what we're going to do. After we're done canceling everything, we are going to multiply the leftovers, whatever's left. However, we only want to multiply the numbers, the constants, the letters, the binomials, the trinomials. We're going to leave all those alone. We're just going to set those aside, okay? So that's not as bad as you think. All right, number four. Set all canceled factors equal to 0. Hey, we did that on the last lesson too. Yes, we did. Okay, so that's another repeat of the last lesson. And number 5, again, another repeat. And write the answers with the excluded values. Okay, so really the only thing we're sticking in there is step number 3. Everything else remains the same. All right, let's look at this one. Here we go. So we have, this is not like a binomial or polynomial or anything, but this is a rational expression. Why? Because it has A's, B's, and C's. It has variables. So what are we going to do? There's actually several ways to solve this. I'm not going to show you the way the book shows you because I don't like it. I think I'm going to show you an easier way. So here's what I would do. I would cancel anything. Well, there's nothing to factor right now. Let's just kind of get that out of the way. And this is where the book says there is something to factor. They factor the 4. I don't like it because you never factor a 4. You just cancel. You know how to cancel. You know how to. I'm just not going to mess with that, okay? So let's just skip that. And this one, there's nothing to factor. So here's what we do. We just jump right into canceling things. What do we cancel? Anything that we can cancel. Look, there's a C and there's a C. Anything cross, we can cancel. Anything up and down, we can also cancel. Okay, so crossways or up and down. What we can't do is we can't do side to side. We can't do this. I can't cancel the numerators. I can't cancel the denominators. I can cancel this way. 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 But I cannot cancel horizontally, okay? All right, so C's cancel. What else cancels? That A cancels, and this A cancels to an A squared. You remember that, right? Because we subtract. Look at the B. This B cancels, okay? Cancels to a 1, and this everything's canceling to a 1, by the way. It doesn't cancel to 0, so be careful of that. And then this B squared would cancel to B or B1 because we're subtracting. That was a B1, that was a B2. And notice it stays in the denominator. Why does it stay in the denominator? Because the B squared was bigger, so we kept it in the denominator. We've done this before. Okay, this is just a repeat of things that we've done. I'm not teaching anything new right here. Now, look at this 2. This 2 cancels to a 1, and this 4 cancels to a 2. Okay, the book shows you a different method there, but I'm just going to go with the method that we've been using all along. Now, what do? Now we take all this stuff over here, basically, and we just kind of multiply it over. 2 times a squared times 1, so nothing else. 3 times b. 3 times 1 times 1 times 1 times b. So we get 3b. Okay? And that would be our answer. Now, that's not all of our answer. So let's be careful. We have to, what did we do? Anything that canceled out of the denominator, any letters that canceled out of the denominator, we have to set those equal to 0. So we have to say A cannot equal 0 and C cannot equal 0. Okay? Those are part of the answer. Why did we not do B? Because B canceled out of the numerator. B is still in the denominator. Okay? So we're good. That one we don't have to do anything with. Only the ones that we cancel out of the denominator. So there's your answer. 2a squared over 3b. A does not equal 0 and C does not equal 0. Those are your answers right there. And we got the same answer that the book got if you want to look there. We did get the same answer, even though we did it just slightly different. All right, let's look at the next one. I like this one. This one is more like the ones that you're going to be doing, okay? That last one was kind of like warm-up. You'll do 1 or 2 like that, but then most of the rest of them will be like this. All right, so what are we going to do here on this one? What we need to do is we just need to follow the steps. What are the steps? Step number 1, factor the numerator and the denominator. So let's go ahead and just start factoring it. This one here, we'll start with this one. It's a common factor. So we're going to pull the 3 out. So what does that give us? I'll try to write it in this area right here. I don't know if I've got enough space, but I'll try to make it work. So that equals, and we'll call that a 3 outside with an x minus 2 inside. Okay? Over, what's going to happen here? Well, that's a perfect square trinomial. So we end up with x plus 1, x plus 1. So we've got 2 of those. I'm going to write those separately, not together. X plus 1, x plus 1. All right. And then we have a multiply sign. Then this one, we factor this out. That's a difference of 2 squares. Those are both squares. That's a difference. So we get x minus 1, x plus 1. Yeah, I worked it out. I fit it in there. And then just the 3. The 3's left over. All right, now what? Now, well, let's go back to our steps. Cancel all common factors. All right, so let's go to our common factors. Notice we have a 3 and a 3. Those cancel to 1. Don't cancel those to 0. You never want to cancel to 0. It cancels to 1. All right, then look, we have an x plus 1, and we can cancel one of these x plus 1s. You can't cancel both x plus 1s. Okay, just one of them. And those always can't, everything cancels to 1 because anything divided by itself is always 1. So we're getting 1. All right, well, we're done with that one. We can't cancel anything else. So what do we have left? What we have left is x minus 2 and then times x minus 1. We don't need to write the times sign in there, right? Because it's parentheses, no sign. It just means multiply. Over what's left over? Just an x plus 1. Okay? Now, don't forget, before you're done, you have to, let's go back up to our steps. Set all canceled factors equal to 0. Well, we had a canceled factor here. The x plus 1 and the x plus 1. We need to set that equal to 0. So we're going to say x plus 1 equals 0. Move the 1 to the other side, and we're going to get x cannot equal negative 1. That is also part of our answer. So x cannot equal negative 1, and x minus 2, x minus 1 over x plus 1. I know some of you want to cancel that right there, but you can't. You can only cancel if it's exactly the same. The sign has to be the same in order to cancel it. Okay? All right, this is fun, isn't it? Yeah, this is great. I know you guys are enjoying this. All right, now what are we going to do here? Woo, look at this one. Lots of stuff to do. Just take it piece by piece. Don't worry. Go back up here. Factor the numerator and the denominator. All right? What's the numerator? Well, let's start with this one. So let's factor that guy. That is not a perfect square trinomial. That is not a difference of two squares. That's just a quadratic. So let's just factor it. We're going to get x, move it up here just a little bit. We're going to get x minus x plus. It's our signs. And we're going to get 1 times 6 or 2 times 3. Well, we need a 1 in the middle, so we're going to need this 2 times 3. Which one's going to be bigger? The negative's going to be bigger, okay, because we got to get a negative sign here. You can try that if you want to, and you will get negative x right there. Okay, so that's over this. We need to factor this one. Well, look, I have a common factor that I can pull out, don't I? There's a 3 in all of those. So here comes the 3 outside. What's left over? Cancel. This goes to a 6, and this goes to an 8. So now we're going to try to factor this with what's left over there. So an x and an x, signs are going to be plus and plus. And what two factors of 8 will give me 6? Well, not 1 and 8. That doesn't work. How about 2 and 4? Yep, that gives me 6. So 2 and 4. Okay, so there we factored that one. Let's factor this one. How do we factor that one? Well, the only thing I can see is a common factor. So what's going to come out? The 6 is going to come out. This is still times right here. The 6 is coming out. What's left inside? X plus 4. Over, now we have to factor this one. What comes out of that one? The 2 comes out. So 2 comes out, and what are we left with in there? We are left with a 3 minus x. Okay. All right. Now what can we do? Now we start canceling things. So let's look at what we can cancel. Do we have any x plus 2's? Yes, we do. There's an x plus 2. There's an x plus 2. Remember, we can cancel top to bottom, and we can cancel diagonally. We just can't cancel left to right. Okay, do we have anything that we can cancel this 3 with? Oh, yes, we do. Look, there's a 1. That cancels to a 2. Now, look, we can cancel again. That 2 cancels to a 1. That 2 cancels to a 1. Cool. What else? X plus 4. X plus 4. Cool. Uh-oh, what's going to happen here? Look at this. We only have one thing left. We have an x minus 3 and a 3 minus x. Do you remember the -1 principle? Okay, so if we multiply everything by -1, that's going to change that sign, that's going to change that sign, that's going to give us x minus 3. Now we can cancel that x minus 3 with that x minus 3. Now I'm going to show you something pretty cool. Basically, everything canceled except for a -1. That's why I told you those ones are important. Because when everything else cancels, we don't get 0. The answer to this is not 0. The answer to this on the top is all these ones equal 1. And on the bottom, all these ones are going to equal -1 because of this -1 right here. So what is -1 divided by 1? The answer to this question is 1. But we do have a lot of canceled factors, so we have some more things to do. We have x minus 3 is a canceled factor, so we're going to set that equal to 0. X minus 3 equals 0. Add 3 to both sides. X equals 3. So that's part of the answer. X plus 4 was part of the answer. So x plus 4 equals 0. Minus 4, x equals -4. That's part of the answer. Well, actually, not equals, doesn't equal, can't equal. Okay, same thing with the 3. X cannot equal 3. And then we had this x plus 2 as our other factor that we canceled. So x plus 2 equals 0, minus 2, minus 2. X cannot equal -2. So those are your answers. Well, I forgot my negative sign here. Sorry about that. -1. Okay, -1 is your answer. And the cannot equal -2, cannot equal -4, and cannot equal +3. So that one was kind of fun, right? That's like a big puzzle where everything was canceling all over the place. And hopefully you learned something there. That's all I've got for you. Make sure to slide that back and watch it again if you missed anything in there. That last one kind of got crazy, especially with that -1 deal right there. So pay attention to that one. Slide that back if you missed that. Make sure you're trying some of these. Go to these exercises and try these, okay? Practice. All righty, we'll see you later. Have a good one. Bye-bye.